Saturday evening is very special day. We have quiz. So the quiz, this time there is a big shield is there, prize is there. Every year there are one prize. There's a big shield rotates every year to different teams who wins. So I request all the Prabhujis please prepare nicely, also Matajis. So and Janmastami day we have Sankirtan, there will be special class and there will be Abhishekam at 10 o'clock in the night, 9:30 normally we start by 9:30 Abhishekam. And then there will be 12 o'clock in midnight, there will be, and there is a special archana also on that day for those who are giving the contribution for Janmastami, 21 BD for all the programs. So whoever can, anybody can give whatever the Lakshmi they want to give, but 21 BD is fixed, so if we can give. So there will be a special archana in their names on that day. And night 12 o'clock there will be special midnight Aarti and Darshan of the Lord. And next day is another special day, Prabhupada Jayanti, which is the biggest festival for us actually, one of the biggest festivals. So appearance of Srila Prabhupada. On that day we will have a special class, Abhishekam for Srila Prabhupada. And all the days, those 2 days, Janmastami day and the next day there will be Chapan Bhog. So Matajis can cook and bring, those who are initiated in Guru, others can bring the banana, fruits and other items, dry fruits. Hare Krishna. So we will start the class now on Brahman realization. I know you are all very curious to know what is Brahman. You have already crossed Brahman actually, but I am taking you all back to Brahman. Okay, so please repeat after me. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yeshodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yeshodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yeshodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yeshodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna. So we are in Brahman realization. So before going to the Brahman realization, let us chant, all of you please chant after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Hare Krishna. Sanatatu, I need the mouse, my keypad number. Then, back in the back. is what is absolute truth? Param Satya kya hai? What are the three stages? What are the three stages of understanding absolute truth? What is Brahman realization? Who practices Brahman realization? Is Brahman realization having truth? Is Brahman realization important for devotee? How to cross over Brahman realization if you are stuck with that? So this is the topic for the day. So we will start with what is absolute truth? In the dictionary, if you see, absolute truth is something that is true at all times and in all places. It is something that is always true no matter what the circumstances. It's a fact that cannot be changed. So that's why when we define the absolute truth, we use the words Sat Chit Ananda. सच्चित आनंद में परमसत्य को हम कैसे बताएंगे? सच्चित आनंद बोलेंगे. So सत means always eternal. Chit means knowledge and Ananda means happiness or bliss rather. I have problem. So, Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita 4.6 he writes, Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form or self or between or his quality and body. So Lord Shri Krishna is considered as is the absolute truth. परम सत्य है और उनका शरीर या उनका रूप या उनका क्वालिटी या गुण या उनका सेल्फ उनका जो परम आत्मा है on all this there is no difference, whereas in us there is a difference. When we leave this body, the atma will go out of this body, right? But in the absolute truth that difference is not there. And Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality Godhead is the last word in the absolute. There is nothing more than that. So, Brahmaji, he prays. What he prays? Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So, he says, he is a Sachidananda Vigraha, the Parama Satya, and he is Anadir Adir. There is no beginning, there is no end. And also he says Sarva Karana Karana. We say even a Trunamapi Nachalati Tena Vina. Without your order or without your sanction, even a grass cannot move from one place to one place. Yeah? That's what we define the Lord. So here Lord Shri Krishna is the fullest manifestation of the supreme absolute truth. So we may say about the Vishnu's other avatars, is it not full? So if you see Krishna, he is having 64 qualities and he is in full. Today's class is not on Bhagavan. I will not cover much on the Bhagavan aspect. Today is specially dedicated for Brahman. So there is a beautiful shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter and 11th shloka. All of you please repeat after me. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabhyate. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabhyate. Translation and purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat the translation after me. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. So here very clearly the three stages are given. So learned translators who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. So absolute truth, Paramasatya, is non-dual. There is no dvandva in that. Not even a little dvandva is there in the Lord. So he is understood in three stages: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. These are the three stages of realization, of which today we are going to discuss on Brahman realization. So sometimes the devotees, they confuse with Brahman word. There are many words, Brahman, Brahma, Brahman, Brahmeti, Parabrahma. There are many words you come across while reading the book. So Brahma is a person, whereas Brahman is a stage actually in the absolute truth. Brahma is a person. And Brahman sometimes referred to the Supreme Personality also. Brahman is referred to the Atma actually, and Parabrahma is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes you read Parabrahman and Paramatma and Bhagavan. So today what we are going to discuss is the Brahman aspect of the absolute truth, who is Krishna himself. So Brahman aspect of Krishna we are going to discuss. So in this shloka it explains the absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Brahman or the impersonal all-pervasive spirit. So Brahman means the impersonal all-pervasive spirit. Paramatma or the localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities. Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. ये जो परम सत्य है, परम सत्य को तीन अवस्था में हम समझ सकते हैं. सो तीन अवस्था कौन सा है? ब्रह्मन, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So there are three aspects for the Bhagavan, Paramasatya, absolute truth. So Brahman is the impersonal. So Brahman में क्या होता है? We remove the personality from there. The Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we remove the personality part there. And we say is impersonal. So, some impersonalists, there is something called Sharirika Bhashya. In Sharirika Bhashya, it is written that Lord is having the body similar to my body. Once I become spiritual, once I attain the perfection, when I get liberated, my body will become similar to the Lord's body, and I can enter into the body of the Lord. That is the merging part. So what happens here? It is the impersonal, all-pervasive spirit. So it agrees there that the Brahman is all-pervasive, whereas Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities. Now, when Lord is all-pervasive, why again he has to manifest as Paramatma? I will not go in detail, it's because Pavandimai Das Prabhu's part that were Paramatma. But Paramatma comes here, he will be present in each and every atom to supervise the activity. To guide and supervise the activity, he is present. Then is explained Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. Now, we all know the meaning of Bhagavan, right? What is the meaning of Bhagavan? Yeah? Yeah, the one who is having the 6 opulences is the Bhagavan. That is a full definition given by Parashara Muni, and it's explained in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada, very beautifully explained. So a Lord means he is having all the 6 opulences in full, is called Bhagavan. So that part also will be covered by His Grace Jagadishwar Chaitanya Das Prabhu. So let us move on with Brahman realization. Now for the Brahman realization, another example we have many times we hear sun rays, sun this and sun planet. This is the comparison given. You know, Brahman realization is the one who studies the sunshine is only the preliminary student. So you are all already postdoctoral graduates, but I am taking you all back to the primary school actually, the Brahman realization. Anyhow, it's very important to understand Brahman realization, then we can glorify Bhagavan realization. The Bhagavan, if you want to glorify, it's important to understand the Brahman position also, Brahman understanding. Ordinary students who are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness and the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman feature of the absolute truth. Actually, you know, you talk to some people who does meditation regularly, you know, who is part of meditation, you talk to them, they will say, you know, once you close your eyes and you start meditating, then there will be a bright light coming in your mind or in your thought process. There will be a bright light. Then they will stop there, they will not go beyond that. They will stop there and they think this is the most powerful thing available and this is the most powerful as good as God. And they will conclude there and they will stop their realization there and they take it as the ultimate. So that's what explained here. Actually, only the sun rays is not the ultimate. The ultimate is the sun planet, the source from where the sun rays are coming. So Lord is having effulgence of his body, and that effulgence is very bright, and that is called Brahma Jyoti. So the Brahman realization people, they enter to that and then they will conclude it there. They will not progress further because their understanding is up to that, and God's mercy also stops there for them because their understanding is like that. One interesting part is all these truths are in 3 stages, and realization is about only one Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the perception is different. A person, how he sees God or Krishna, is depending on his perception, he will attain that stage actually. So it's very important for us to understand all these stages so that we can concentrate purely on Bhagavan realization. Then only we can achieve the pure devotional service. Otherwise, after coming to the devotional service, still we will have some confusion about our understandings. Sometimes we may stuck with Brahman realization, sometimes Paramatma realization. But the ultimate goal of the devotional service is to realize Bhagavan. So Lord Brahma, so we are into the topic what is Brahman realization. So here Lord Brahma, he sings in his Brahma Samhita. Please repeat. Let us sing together. Please sing. Yasya prava pravavato jagadanda koti koti shvashesha vasudadi vibhuti vinnam Tad Brahmanishkalam Anantamashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Translation: I worship Govinda. I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads. Being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the individual, infinite, limitless truth. In purport, Prabhupada writes, the mundane universe created by Maya is one of the infinite external manifestations accommodating space, time and gross things. The impersonal aspect of Godhead, the Brahman, is far above this principle of mundane creation. So we said this is only the preliminary student of God realization of Supreme Personality of Understanding is practicing Brahman realization. But we should not think or we should not conclude they are something very lower, because it says here that external manifestations accommodating space, time and gross things, the impersonal aspect of Godhead, Brahman, is far above this principle of mundane creation. So we find people who are in mundane things, in material things. So Brahman realization people is above material platform actually. They have come above, means they have come above that birth and death realization actually. They have come to the platform that we are beyond birth and death. And also they have come to the platform there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only their problem is they cannot give a form or they cannot think of the form which Lord is having, beautiful form. That they cannot think about. Whereas the Paramatma feature, they can give the form of the Lord, they can think about the Paramatma form, but the problem, there is no loving exchange between them. So this is the problem. So if you see, Chaitanya Charanam, this year's Chaitanya Charanam Prabhu has given an example of train. When train comes to the platform from far, we see the bright light. So some of them, they think that bright light itself is train. Whereas some will stay some more time and realize the bogies, they can realize the engine and all. So their realization in Paramatma, they can give a form. And they can think there is a driver who is driving this train or running this train. This they can think, the Paramatma realization. But Bhagavan realization person, he will analyze the whole train. Apart from that, he will go and shake hands with the driver, the engine driver, and he makes relationship with him, he talks to him, he makes friendship and all. This part is missing in Paramatma and it's missing in Brahman also. So what we are doing is, what we are trying to understand is the Bhagavan realization, which is the ultimate. Now, in continuing the Brahman realization, it's also explained in the Gita that impersonal Brahman is also subordinate to the complete Supreme Person. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Brahman is more explicitly explained in Brahma Sutra to be like the rays of the sunshine. The impersonal Brahman is the shining rays of the Supreme Personality of God. So Prabhupada writes that this impersonal Brahman, as we said, is compared to the sun rays, is then the question arises when we see here whether the Brahman realization is having any truth in it. This question arises, we will see the answer later. Who practices Brahman realization? So Brahman realization is the offshoot of Jnana Yoga. So we have this yoga ladder where there is general people, masses who are following this material life. Above them is Karma Yoga, Karma Yogis are there. Above them Jnana Yogis, above them Ashtanga Yogis, above them is Bhaktas. Like this, there is a stages, different stages are there. So this Brahman realization is offshoot of the Gnana Yogis. Gnana Yogis who cannot continue the yoga ladder, they end up in Brahman realization. Whereas when they continue, they will go to the Ashtanga Yoga, where Paramatma is realized, then finally the Bhakta Yogis who realize the Bhagavan. Now the question arises whether we pass through this yoga ladder or we can go directly. This is the question. Can we become directly Bhakta Yogis? Can we become direct Bhakta Yogis? Question. Yeah, Prabhupada explains this one very nicely. He says take the leap. When you take the leap, you go directly. Otherwise, when you take the step, you will go climbing the steps. So, here, when Gnana Yoga, when we start practicing, when Gnana increases in us, when the knowledge increases, we get puffed up with that knowledge. Then we start removing the Lord Himself actually. So, if you see, some of them have written purports for Srimad Bhagavad Gita, if that they have removed the Bhagavan or totally, even Krishna's name is removed certain Bhagavad Gitas. Even they say Krishna has not spoken, Bhagavan has spoken. Sometimes they say, who is that Bhagavan? They cannot explain the Bhagavan. So there are so much of confusion among that. So this is because of the Gnana. When the knowledge increases, we try to remove. This is because of the cheating propensity we have. So Prabhupada explains, when the Gnana is wrongly applied, then you end up in Brahman realization. But when you take the step properly, then you realize further steps. Then again further Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 12:5 explains, Kleshodikaatvaras tesham avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam deha vadbir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advance is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So here it gives who practices the Brahman realization. Hare Krishna children, this is Brahman realization class, please maintain silence. Hare Krishna. So here supreme advancement is very troublesome, because here further I will go to the one more slide here. This explains more clearly. Some devotees follow ascending order to realize Supreme Lord. Our process is descending actually order, parampara. What? To understand Brahman, you go in ascending order. So when you go in, sorry, I have some problem here with the keyboard. To think that I will do it by myself on your own or will remain on your own, so this creates the problem actually, because you are on own to achieve. They are with limited knowledge and limited capacity. Philosophical approach is good but better than materialistic. But how far we can go by our approach? So they have taken the philosophical approach, but above materialistic, sorry about this. By one's own efforts, come to the understanding that we are not material, we are not body, but realizes oneness. Again in Brahman realization, another problem is we consider the Lord and us are one and the same. We give the same status. So this is another problem. But what devotees are following is descending order, parampara. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Srila Prabhupada explains, Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation. Out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. Yet despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the Supreme. So actually Lord himself descends to show to the world that I am Supreme, but still we will not be able to perceive that Krishna is Supreme. So basically it's because of the false ego, and also we cannot identify the Lord's supremacy and those 6 opulences what Lord is having. We cannot identify that. So we'll go to the other slides of the who practices Brahman realization. For those who are following the impersonal way to spiritual realization is difficult. They have to understand the unmanifested representation of the Supreme through such Vedic literatures as the Upanishads, and they have to learn the language, understand the non-perpetual feelings, and realize all these processes. So, to read the Upanishads and to understand and all, the language is important. We are trying to learn Sanskrit from Mataji, her grace Kalpana, Mataji. It's not easy to understand, language. When I read this one, language, it's not just talking about the Sanskrit language here, It's talking about how to understand the supremacy language of the Lord, Here, understand the non-perpetual feelings and realize all these processes, because Lord is Supreme Parabrahma and we are with 3 gunas here. How we can understand Lord with these 3 gunas with us? It's very difficult. So this is not very easy for common man. So in the purport Prabhupada writes, it's not easy for a common man to realize the Brahman. Also in terms of realization of Brahman, it's nirguna without qualities, it is inconceivable, it's all-pervading, unchanging, fixed and immovable, cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activities. Because in Brahman realization, you don't give the personal feature to the Lord, so activity is not there. There is no activity, just sitting and meditating on the bright light, that's it. So, the risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end and may realize the eternal Sat and knowledge, Chit, aspects of his original nature, partial realization. Because they have come from eternity, so they give importance to the eternity aspect. The moment they give eternity aspect, there is some truth in this, because Lord is Sat aspect is there in Lord. Then impersonal in terms of practice, what they practice, how they practice, they meditate on formless. Very difficult for embodied. So we are all having body, you go to some shops, you go to medical places, wherever, there will be some personality, some idol, something will be there and they will decorate with nice dress. You go to medical shop, they will show you how the heart looks and all. So we can relate, the moment we see those things, we can relate that one. So you tell somebody who is not knowing what form Lord is having, it's very difficult for him to conceive the formless of the Lord. So unmanifested is beyond the senses. So we are with the senses with 3 gunas, but unmanifested is beyond senses, is difficult to understand. Must understand the Brahman through Upanishads, learn the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perpetual feelings. Long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti. So you will find some people, we call Prabhuji, please come and follow Bhakti Yoga. We were conducting Rath Yatra in 2015 or 16. I had a friend here who is very much into meditational process. Then he came for the Rath Yatra and we were all pulling and dancing and smiling and we are having such a nice celebration. Everybody is enjoying. But he was just standing in one place. Because he is my friend, I know him from Saudi also, we used to meet him regularly. So I called him, please come and pull the ratha and enjoy, have prasadam and all. He said, no, this is only for those who are having small understanding of the Supreme Lord, But when you sit and meditate, then there will be bright light and energy of the Lord. When you see, I think that is more difficult. This is very easy, you just go and pull the ratha. So he was telling like that. So now we can relate how the understanding of a meditational practitioners compared to the Bhagavan realization. So because he has practiced for a long time, it's very difficult for him to take up the bhakti. Then how the bhakti will come? We'll discuss later. Troublesome. No relationship with the Lord. So something, no relationship with the Lord, that will become troublesome. Sometimes I have seen devotees here, while doing the devotional service, they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So while chanting, they forget the physical service or the devotional service they are doing, they'll forget that one. Brahmaji, he has to continuously he has to create. 24 hours is his creation. Whatever he says is a creation. Whatever he does is a creation. So how he can create continuously 24 hours? For us 8 hours no working. After that we have to rest. Then we have to do some other things. But Brahmaji, he has to create continuously. He has to meditate continuously. That's why what Brahmaji does, he continuously will be chanting the Vedas, so that he will not get bored or he will not get tired also. So similarly, if we have relationship with the Lord, when we do the devotional service, it will not be troublesome. For Brahman realization people, it's generally be troublesome. Depends on our own endeavor. It's a ascending order. So in the ascending order, you need a lot of efforts. This we discussed. Is Brahman realization is having some truth? Answer is yes, because it is the first stage of absolute realization. So absolute truth can be understood in 3 realizations, and Brahman realization is part of absolute truth realization. So there is a truth in this. The supreme transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the supreme reality, who is understood by the knowers of the supreme as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Bhagavan, or the supreme personality of Godhead, is the last word in the absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Matta Parataram Nasti Anya Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. Fifth person Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishthana. So Krishna has not rejected, so we cannot reject impersonal Brahman. But we have to support them, we have to give them the support in such a way that they will become devotees of the Lord. So that we can do with the help of the Guru and Krishna. Only by Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy that is possible. Like Sukadeva Goswami is a practitioner of impersonalism, and these Chatush Kumaras, they were practitioners of impersonalism. But when they entered the Vaikuntha, the 4 Kumaras, then when they cursed, the Lord came there, and Lord wanted to accept them because they were in the Vaikuntha planet, and they were confused. Why in the Vaikuntha planet these wrong things are happening? Why these persons stopped us? So they could not realize, they could not understand the Vaikuntha's mood. Then Lord thought, okay, let me give them the Bhagavan realization. So when they go down, the Tulsi aroma which was in his lotus feet, through that Lord gave the mercy, and when they smell, they became the pure devotees of the Lord. So it's only by the mercy of the Lord we can change the impersonalists into personalists. Is Brahman realization important for a devotee? Those who are in Krishna conscious sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord, while others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice their material possessions to satisfy demigods such as Indra, the sun god, etc. And who are impersonally sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of impersonal Brahman. The demigods are powerful living entities appointed by the Supreme Lord for the maintenance and supervision of all material functions like the heating, watering, lighting of the universe. Here it is said, sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of impersonal Brahman. So, now, in our journey towards the Bhagavan realization, is it important to understand Brahman realization? Question. Is it important for a devotee to understand Brahman realization? The whole Thursday evening class is dedicated for Brahman realization. Is it important to understand? Balavan Prabhu is in doubt. Is it important to understand Brahman realization? Huh? Yes. So, actually, not necessarily. This was Chaitanya Charana Prabhu's answer. Because sometimes the devotees, they start with the Bhagavan realization only. But Brahman realization, sometimes they pass through, they may not be understanding, realizing totally, but they will pass through, they will just pass through that Brahman realization. But there is no stopover. Like transit, no? When we are in the transit, we know this is not our destination, but temporarily you will be staying there for some time. But you are happy that you will be going out of this place. So similarly, Brahman realization, those who want to realize, understand, they will be there for temporarily, but it's not necessarily understand the Brahman realization, or it's not important to understand the Brahman realization. And same is the Paramatma realization also. In Paramatma realization and Brahman realization, still there is some, especially in Brahman realization, it's total impersonalism. In Paramatma realization also, there is a little that loving exchange is not there, like Bhagavan. So that part is still missing. So, but the devotees, once they enter into the transcendental loving devotional service, or who starts from that one, for them there is no need of going through this Brahman and Paramatma realization. And I am already late. This is the last slide. I am not covering this slide, just I will read out. Chetasha Upanishad 3.8 Tam eva viditva amrutyameti nanya panta vidyateyanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth, death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no way to achieve this perfection. So here, actually, by serving the Supreme Lord, we can cross over the Brahman realization, which tomorrow Paramatma realization, Pavanimaya Prabhu will cover this, and he will take us away from Brahman realization, and Jagdishwar Chaitanya Das Prabhu is grace, he will take us to the Bhagavan realization. So sometimes when we say liberation, to come out of these material problems and material world is liberation, and that liberation has got, there are 5 types of liberation always we talk about: Sarupya, Samipya, Shasti, and Samipya and Sayujya. Salokya. There are 5. These 5 are there. In these 5, the 4 is in the Vaikuntha planet, where you want to be with Lord, you want to have same as His opulence, all those are there. But the one Sayujya is merging with the Lord, which is Brahman realization. So Sayujya, when you merge into the Lord, there is no activity, you will be lying there just as it is, without just just thinking that, oh, I got liberation, I came out of that problem, just and you are happy that you are here, just relaxing, there is nothing, no activity, nothing is there. Hare Krishna.
One thing I wanted to clarify is that Brahman realization, universal realization, and Mayavan realization. How is that different?
How is
it different? Is Mayavan philosophy different from universal or Brahman realization?
Mayavada and Brahman is very close. The topic, both are very close actually. When Sharirika Bhashya was propagated, that time this Mayavada philosophy came, and Brahman realization takes you to the realm of Vaikuntha. But Mayavada philosophy, it will not take you to the realm of Vaikuntha actually. It's very, Mayavadis will not be given any position near to the Vaikuntha. This is what my understanding actually. Philosophical perspective means the practice you mean? Okay. Yeah. Mayavadi will not give the personal aspect to the Lord, but Brahmavadi gives that Lord is supreme. No? The supremacy is accepted in Brahmavadi. You want to add? Yeah. Actually, these two are one and the same, very close. Who Brahman realization knows? Yeah.
No, so one thing what I have heard is kind of I want to understand that Mayavadi philosophy talks about themselves becoming God.
Yes.
Whereas impersonal realization does
They are merging to the Lord. They accept the Brahman Jyoti. The Mayavadis, yeah, as I said, you also Narayana, I am also Narayana. They become Narayana and they think they are Narayana. Whereas Brahman realization people, Brahma Jyoti they will enter, which is the realm of Vaikuntha. It's not Vaikuntha. They cannot see the form of the Lord, but they can feel the energy of the Lord. Supremacy. Hare Krishna. We will stop here because there is another not qualified to give more clarification. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for understanding the Brahman realization. Please give Brahman realization here in this class. And please, all of you please come tomorrow to understand the Brahman realization more, because Paramatma realization is much superior to Brahman realization. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah, who will give the introduction? Hare Krishna. Today we have a cultural program as well. There is a Bharatanatyam presented by, they will announce the student name. Hare Krishna. You can take over.